Hello, my name is Emmett Gillum, and welcome to the third edition of the 2 Minute Warning. And we've talked about a couple of things, right? We've talked a little bit about the college football season, and then, in the last episode, I gave you some thoughts, in terms of my feelings with regard to name, image, and likeness. And, today I want to talk about behavioral health in college sports. And I've been working in this space, in terms of mental and behavioral health in college sports, probably for the last 12 years or so. University of Texas, Rutgers State University of New Jersey, University of Texas at San Antonio, as well as North Carolina Central University. Shout out to my people. Eagle Pride Amplified. And so, really have dedicated a great amount of time to this space. And, when COVID, 19 hit us, this past spring, and then right after that, the social unrest um, came to a serious fruition with regard to um, the unfortunate death of George Floyd. And then I thought about the normal circumstances that we experience, whether you're white, whether you're black, whether you're Asian, whether you're Pacific Islander, and I really thought about, though, the well-being of our black male and female college athletes, because all of us were struggling and all of us have struggled with something throughout this pandemic and throughout the social or racial unrest, right? Doesn't make any difference who we are. We're not immune. And so, being in that space, and then maybe a couple of years ago, I visited at the Atlantic Coast Conference, sort of mental health provider conference. And, I've been used to being the only black male or the only black person in several of the spaces that I've worked in. Something that sort of comes with the territory. But on this day, it felt different because I knew that, folks like Shamari Brown were in the room who put together the whole effort. And I knew pioneers like Dwight Hollier over at UNC were in the room. But still, when I looked around, it was almost like at least 98 or 99% of the providers that I saw were white. And so I decided to do a behavioral health um, race and gender report card amongst the Power Five conferences. And it's a project that I've been working on like for the last 10 months. And teamed up with athletes and advocates for social justice in sports just to put this piece out, just to look at the demography. And basically what we found is what we probably suspected. Upwards of 80% of the providers are white. About 50, almost 50% of the providers are white females. And a total of 19 out of 122 positions are filled by people of color, male and female. And it's ridiculous, because I look at the demography of the football, of the basketball players who are competing right now, who are, confined to college campuses, confined to travel while their classmates are at home. Yet we can't provide them with at least the opportunity to work through these remarkable times that we're having to work through, without the benefit of a mental health provider, whether it's their race and their gender or their race or their gender. And it's really unfortunate, because, after working on this report and sharing it, with a group of sports psychologists, it was quite frankly, it was amazing the pushback that I got to this report. I have been fortunate enough to call folks like Harry Edwards and Richard Lapchak mentors, people that I can depend on and call when times get tough. And they had never been tougher than the times that I put out a report. I've never had people who've never published a peer-reviewed article to tell me about the flaws in my research because, right, there's no research designed that's flawless, of course, or to question the work or to question the reason why we should do the work. The reality is, and I was saying this to this group, the reality is that, not a lot of black folks go see psychologists. They'll go see licensed professional counselors. They'll go see their pastor, right? And they'll go see social workers. So it's nothing personal, but we have to figure out a way not only to change the demography of the discipline that works with our black and brown male and female college athletes, but we also have to change, the shade. And, if you are not willing to allow folks like me to talk about the issue, then that probably means that the issue needs to be talked about even more. right? A lot of people would have the conversation with me, well, this person in my department identifies as XYZ. And I'm like, but what do you think that black and brown male college athlete sees them as? Do you think that if they are biracial, that they care that their African American roots are from the Caribbean, or that their white roots are from Ireland? No, they don't care. They don't care. You're black, you're white. If you're biracial, it's do you look more black or do you look more white? And the reality is that depends on, for some, that depends on whether or not they're going to come and see you and work through the substance abuse issue, whether they're going to come see you, and tell you about, their parents who are being evicted because the dad lost the job in the midst of COVID. They're going to be the one to tell you, that the coach and the way that they approach them is abusive and how can I handle this? They're going to ask you how to advocate when the trainer wants them to return to play when they shouldn't. And it depends. Now, it does not infer that all black males can work with black males and that there are no white females who can't counsel black females or black males. That's not what this is about. It's as deep as the literature and health disparities. We know that from the literature on health disparities, there are issues when we talk about, the compatibility of providers and the belief of providers and the belief of the consumers. And so to my folks, the Big Sky, I hope you will take the report. I hope that you will see it as accurate, valid, the methods are reliable, that you will let the light shine on this issue, because at the end of the day, it's not about us. It's about the college athletes. Thank you so much. My name is Emmett Gill, and this has been the 2-Minute Warning.